Knowing the order of 5 SAT reading passages is very important for mental preparation and time management, but surprisingly, most of the students don't know the fact that the order of the 5 passages in the SAT reading section is fixed in a specific way, which is what I'm going to explain in this video. The first passage is always a literature, which is an excerpt from either a contemporary novel or one of the classics. Personally, I do have a preference for the classics, but when it comes to the SAT reading, I think the contemporary novels should serve better for the students. For example, in the 2022 August International SAT test, the first passage was an excerpt from the classic novel Moby Dick. Well, the book itself is obscure enough for most high school students, but to make things worse, the passage was even harder for you if you have never read or heard of the book, because it was an excerpt. You don't know the characters or the relationship among the characters, so nearly all the students who took that particular test failed miserably in that first passage. On the contrary, contemporary literature is much friendlier to the students. The third and fifth passages of the SAT reading section are scientific ones, which I think are easier than literature and historical documents for 2 reasons. First, we can check the intro part here to find the title of the passage within the quotation marks, which usually gives us the gist or the general idea of the passage. Like here, why birds fly in V formation, which tells you that the passage is going to explain the way certain birds orient themselves in a group in order to function more efficiently. With this concept in our mind, we can have a better and quicker comprehension for the upcoming passage. Second, since it's a scientific passage, it is structured in a specific way. First, it mentions a problem, an implausible phenomenon, or some commonly shared but flawed concept. Then the scientists come along to solve the problem, debunk the mystery, or to invalidate the flawed theory. Then the rest of the passage is going to be about an experiment or experiments or reasoning to prove the scientist's point. Since it is structured in a specific way and the structure is fixed, I would just focus on the first 20 to 30 lines of the passage and skim or even skip the rest to save time, because I know what's going to happen. If the questions require me to read a specific part of the passage that I have skipped, I'll read it. If not, I'll leave it at that. The second and fourth passages are one historical passage, usually the hardest one, and one social science passage, usually the easiest one, and they can switch places, which means you can have the historical passage as the second and social science as the fourth. Then in some other tests, social science passage the second and historical passage the fourth. You don't have to read the entire passage to know which one is which. The one with the graph is the social science. The one without the graph is the historical documents. The historical documents usually contain obscure words and sentences with a complex structure. Sometimes it can be daunting to you when you see a sentence that sprawls across the entire paragraph, but always remember to read the intro part, which tells you the main purpose of the passage, usually among these 3 categories: equal rights, abolitionism, or the Revolutionary War. If you cannot find it in the intro part, the main idea of the historical documents always manifests itself early in the passage, so make sure to focus on the first 20 to 30 lines of the passage, and then you can skim the rest. Now you know the specific order of the SAT passages. Literature first, scientific passages as third and fifth, social and historical ones as second and fourth. So, how can we benefit from this knowledge? First, mental preparation. If you have a clear map of the entire reading test in your head, you will know what kind of passage you are going to encounter. Knowing your enemy before you get in the ring primes you for the big fight, which can help you keep your composure during the test, because it is easy to get stage fright without proper preparation. Second, personal preference. People's strong suits vary. Personally, I am good at scientific passages which I can finish with speed and accuracy, and my weakness usually is literature, which occupies a big chunk of the given 65 minutes, but it's just me. You might be more literary than I am, or you might find the historical documents the easiest among them all because you have aced in or A-push or whatnot. Knowing the order of 5 passages, you can customize your personal order of the SAT reading section. Some people like to have their scientific passages first and leave the historical documents at the very last. Some people like to arrange it the other way around. Arrange the order of the passages that suits you the best and stick to it. Third, time management. I feel the biggest challenge in the SAT reading test is not specific passages or questions, but the limited amount of time. We have 65 minutes for 5 passages, which means we have 13 minutes per passage. But since we know the order of the passages and its relative difficulty, we can tweak the time we spend on different passages. Personally, I would like to spend 10 to 11 minutes for each scientific passage and 12 to 15 minutes for the historical document or literature. Allocate the time properly to your advantage, but you have to plan this beforehand, lest you might be flustered on the spot. Okay, if you guys like this video and find it helpful, please drop a like and subscribe to my channel, and welcome to leave a message in the comment section down below. Peace.